Hey guys, today we're going to be reading part 1, Echoes in the Quiet House, a JohnnyBoy fanfiction. I woke up that morning with Playboy's arms slung heavy over my waist, his breath warm against the back of my neck. 6 years of marriage, and it still felt like something I didn't quite deserve. The room was dim, early light filtering through the curtains we picked out together at that flea market in Tulsa. Pony always said they reminded him of the sunset we used to watch in the lot back when we were kids, running from everything. I lay there a minute, listening to his steady breathing, feeling the familiar scar on my shoulder pulled tight as I shifted. Some things never fade. I slipped out of bed, careful like, not wanting to wake him. He had early classes today, and I knew how much he poured into those kids. Ponyboy Curtis, my husband, was a high school English teacher now. Hard to believe the same kid used to quote "Gone from the Wind" in the church was standing in front of a classroom full of teenagers, talking about symbolism and themes. I pulled on my DX uniform, the blue shirt with the little logo stitched on the chest, kissed his forehead before heading out. "Love you, Pony," I whispered, even though he was still asleep. The drive to the station was quiet. Our little house sat on the edge of what used to be the greaser part of town. Now it's just a regular neighborhood with kids riding bikes and dogs barking. SodaPop and Steve live a few blocks over, married 4 years now, loud and happy like they'd always been. Life had changed, but some things stay the same. Work started fine. Soda was already there, gritting that movie star smell of his as he wiped down the pumps. "Morning, Johnny Cake." Steve's in the back, cussing at the cash register again. Steve Randall poked his head out, grease on his cheek. "The damn thing's possessed. How you doing, Johnny? Playboy still making you read poetry before bed?" I laughed a little, only on Tuesdays. The morning rush wasn't bad, but then the heat rolled in like it does in Oklahoma. Thick and mean. Cars kept pulling up with problems, overheated radiators, flat tires from the construction on the highway. One guy, some social-looking fella in a shiny new Mustang, started yelling at me because I told him we couldn't fix his fancy stereo system on the spot. "You greasers never know what you're doing," he muttered under his breath. I bit my tongue so hard it tasted blood. 6 years married, steady job, a house with Pony, and one word from a guy like that still made my hands shake. Soda noticed. He always did. "Hey, ignore that jerk. You okay?" "Yeah," I lied, wiping sweat from my forehead. "Just hot." Steve claps me on the back. "Tell you what, after shift, we'll grab a beer at the house. Pony and Derry coming over too?" I nodded, but I already knew the day was souring. By lunch, my back was aching from crawling under cars, and some lady yelled at me because her change was a nickel short. Small stuff, but it piles up. Meanwhile, I didn't know it then, but Ponyboy was having his own hell at school. I got home around 6, the sun being down. House smelled like the coffee Pony had made that morning. I kicked off my boots by the door and called out, "Pony, I'm back." No answer at first. Then I heard the bedroom door shut hard. He came out a minute later, still in his teaching clothes, button-up shirt, sleeves rolled up, hair combed back but starting to fall in his eyes like it always did when he was tired. His jaw was tight. Those green-gray eyes that I'd fallen in love with years ago looked stormy. "Rough day?" I asked. "Try to keep it light." I stepped forward to kiss him, but he turned his head. "You could say that." His voice was clipped. "One of my juniors decided today was the day to call me a fairy in front of the whole class because we were reading Walt Whitman. Another kid got caught cheating on the essay. I stayed up grading last night, and the principal pulled me in to talk about parent concerns about the curriculum being too progressive." I winced. "Damn, Pony, I'm sorry." He shocked off his shirt, tossing it over the chair. "Yeah, and you? You smell like oil and sweat." "Same old. Some social prick called me a greaser." Nothing new. I headed to the kitchen, grabbing a couple of sodas from the fridge. Steve and Soda invited us over later. Might be good to get out. Playboy laughed, but it wasn't his real laugh. It was sharp. "Of course. Go hang out with your buddies while I deal with this stack of papers I still have to grade. You know, Johnny, sometimes I feel like I'm the only one trying to build something here." That stung. I set the sodas down harder than I meant to. What's that supposed to mean? I work full-time, too. I come home every night to you. We built this house together, Pony. Don't act like I'm just flying around. He ran a hand through his hair, pacing the small living room. The couch we picked out together. The one with the soft blue fabric, sat there like a witness. I know you work, but you've been distant lately. Coming home, barely talking, falling asleep right after dinner. I teach teenagers all day who think I'm some joke, then come home to this. This? My voice rose. I could feel the old anger, the scared kid I used to be, bubbling up. This is our life, Ponyboy Curtis, and the same scared runaway you saved in that church. I got a job, I pay bills, I love you. What more do you want? I want you to see me, he shouted back. His face was flushed. Had a kid asked me today if I was married to a girl, if it was just or if it was just one of those things. I told him about you, about us, and half the class laughed. And then I come home and you're already tired from the DX, and I feel like I'm carrying everything alone. I stepped closer, my hands clenched at my sides. You don't think I don't get crap at work? People still look at me like I'm the trash from the wrong side of town. Steve and Soda got each other's backs. But I'm the quiet one, remember? The one who jumps at loud noises. You knew that when you married me. Ponyboy's eyes flashed. Don't throw that at me, Johnny. Don't you dare. I chose you. Every scar, every nightmare, every time you wake up shaking. I chose it. But today I just need you to ask how my day was without turning into your own pity party. That hit deep. I felt my chest tighten, the way it used to before I'd run to the lot as a kid. Pity party? You're the one who forced us into this fancy life. Teacher, nice house, acting like we're not still greasers at heart. Maybe I like things simpler. Simpler? Ponyboy's voice cracked. You mean running for our lives, hiding in churches while everything burned? I almost lost you, Johnny. I'm not going back to that scared existence. The argument spiraled. Words flew like punches we never actually throw at each other. I brought up how he stayed up late grading and left me eating dinner alone some nights. He threw back how I still flinched when Derry raised his voice at family dinners. Like I didn't trust the family we built. We yelled about money, about the future, about whether we should have adopted that kid we talked about last year. Everything kept quiet for months, poured out in the small living room. Finally, Ponyboy stopped pacing. His shoulders slumped, but his eyes were hard. I can't do this tonight, Johnny. Just sleep on the couch. I need space. I stared at him. 6 years. We had fights before. Loud ones. Quiet ones. But never like this. Never on the couch. Never the couch. Pony, please. His voice was quieter now, tired. I love you, but right now, I need to not look at you. He turned and walked into the bedroom, shutting the door with a soft click that felt louder than any slam. I stood there in the middle of the living room for a long time. The clock on the wall ticked. It was the one Soda had given us as a wedding present, with little engravings of our names. Outside, the Oklahoma night was settling in. Crickets starting up, the distant hum of cars on the highway. I could hear Ponyboy moving around in the bedroom, drawers opening, probably changing into those old sweatpants he liked. My legs felt heavy as I grabbed a blanket from the hall closet. The couch was too short for me. My feet would hang off the end. I lay down, staring at the ceiling, the same cracks we'd patched together one weekend when we'd first move in. Memories flood me. Ponyboy ringed to me late at night when nightmares got bad. His voice soft and steady like it could chase away the shadows. The way he kissed me in the hospital after everything with the fire, promising we'd make it. Our wedding, small and secret at first, with Soda as best man and Derry standing there, looking proud and scared all at once. Steve teasing us about finally making it official. I pulled the blanket up to my chin, even though it wasn't cold. My shoulder ached. Where the burn scars were. I'm sorry, Pony, I whispered in the empty room. I had a bad day, too. The bedroom door stayed closed. I spilled out from under it for a while. Probably him grabbing those papers. Then clicked off. The house went dark and quiet except for the creak of the couch springs when I turned over. I thought about all the times we had almost lost each other. The fire, the court hearings. The way the world sometimes looked at two guys from the wrong side of Tulsa holding hands. 6 years was nothing, but tonight it felt fragile, like a paperback book with pages ready to fall out. Sleep didn't come easy. I kept seeing Playboy's hurt face, the way his voice broke when he said he needed space. I loved him more than I knew how to say. Always had. Since we were kids hanging the lot, talking about sunsets and running away. He was the golden one, the one who saw beauty in everything. I was a shadow that followed. Sometime deep in the night, I heard the bedroom door open softly. Bare feet padded across the floor. I kept my eyes closed, pretending to be asleep. The footsteps stopped by the couch. I felt Playboy's hand brush my hair back. Light as anything, then pulled the blanket tighter over my shoulder. He didn't say anything, just stood there a minute before going back to bed. My chest hurt with how much I loved him. Tomorrow, we'd talk. We always did. But tonight, the couch was cold. The house felt too big for just me in it. I whispered into the dark, "Good night, Pony Boy. I'll make it right." The crickets kept singing outside, and somewhere down the street, Sid and Steve were probably laughing together like they always did. Our little family, broken and patched, and still fighting for every good thing. I closed my eyes and waited for morning, hoping the sunrise would look like the ones Pony always described, hoping we'd still be watching it together.